For the connection of two tubes or pipes, cutting rings are the most established and a very reliable way to do so. So that's why STAUFF obviously offers a wide range of cutting rings in its product range. In this episode, you will learn that there is an even safer way for the connection of two tubes, which is at the same time more economical. A warm welcome from the STAUFF studio located in the Sauerland area from a beautiful sunny day, as you can see here on the LED screen. With me in the studio is Andreas Toporowski. He is the product manager for tube connectors at STAUFF Germany. Hello, Andreas.
Hello, Dominik.
Next to Andreas is Oliver Wagner, who is a design engineer with focus on the online connection of machines.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Oliver. All right. So, Andreas, let's start. We have got an overview for the start, which shows all the different kinds or ways of connection of two tubes or even pipes, as we can see here. Yeah. So, and as I mentioned earlier, a cutting ring is a well-established and safe way to connect two tubes.
Yeah. There was an overview about the systems we have in our product range. As already mentioned from you, we have the standard cutting ring, a two-edge cutting ring with the tube end and the standard union nut. Additional, we have a soft sealing cutting ring. There is an additional sealing inside and outside of the cutting ring with also the standard tube nut. And we have also a weld cone system where you weld the cone on the tube end, also with the standard union nut. And as already mentioned for you in advance, we have the tube forming system where we need our tube, where we need a formed tube, also the union nut and a Storeform EVO sealing ring. And last but not least, we have also in our product range a flare system, a 73-degree flaring system with a special nut, also a special support sleeve and an adapter from 24 to 73-degree cone.
Mm-hmm. So before we start talking about the Storeform forming system and Storeform EVO, let's touch the cutting rings a bit. So of course it is a safe way as long as you follow the assembly instructions thoroughly, obviously, but you often go to customers around the world, and if there is a claim or a leakage, then it's often because of over-tightening or under-tightening.
Yes, the main problem is the assembly. We start with the straight cut of the tube, that sometimes a problem with the customer, and additional for the small sizes, 6, 8, 10, light series, the man have too many power and they do the over-assembly, and for the bigger sizes, 25S up to 38S or 42L, they don't have the power to do the assembly in the right way, so we have an under-assembly of the system.
Yeah, so everyone obviously pays a lot of attention on training of the operators or the person that assembles, but especially nowadays where it's hard to find employees at all. Yeah, so you have to take what you get. That, of course, increases the chance that the assembly is not done correctly.
Yes, and that is one of the advantages we have with our tube forming system, because we have only 15 to 20 degree assembly angle, and because of the metal to metal, the force will increase immediately, and you have the feeling that you have done the assembly in the right way. We have also the possibility to have torque settings for each size, so the worker can also work with the torque settings.
Yeah. What is the worst case scenario for when you have a connection with a cutting ring and you do not use the proper torque? Yeah, you over tightening or under tightening.
Yeah, perhaps when you have forgotten to do the assembly, then it could be possible that the tube will flow away. When you have a formed tube, you only will have a leakage because of the tube shape. It is not possible that the tube will flow out of the nut.
So it's the avoidance of the worst case,
Yeah.
with the use of the form system, which is a big advantage, of course.
Especially when we have a look on the pressures, we are working with 800 bars with safety factor 4. So we are working with more than 1,000, 2,000 bar on high pressure peaks. And yeah, then you could have problems when the assembly is not done in the right way.
Yeah, we've got a nice 3D rendering of a form system or of a tube here with the form system.
Yeah, here we can see a cut sample of our formed tube. You can see the standard 24-degree fitting body, the standard union nut and the formed tube. Additionally, you can see the sealing element. You can use it from both ways, and you can use it also for the stainless steel. When we came to the assembly of STAUFF connector of the tube fittings, there was no need of oil. So you just need to fix it with the spanner, and there is no need for oiling of the threads or of the cutting rings or whatever.
Yeah, which is of course a protection of the environment. Yeah, if you don't use oil, is always a good thing. Then secondly, there's not a chance that some dirt or whatever sticks on the oil in itself.
Yeah.
And then it makes the process safer simply. You don't need to apply oil, obviously.
And it is also faster because you don't need to oil it.
Yeah, and it's a cost saving at the same time. So just advantages here, no disadvantages. Very good. Let's have a look at how this forming process actually looks like. Yeah, we have a nice short clip that you could walk us through here, how the actual tube or the pipe is just brought into that shape. Here we see it.
Here you can see that the tube is put to the machine. Then the clamping jaws clamps the tube. Then the form stud will drive forward, and then the tube is formed, and we have this special shape of the tube. And then the machine will open the clamping jaws, and you can put out the tube again.
And this we have slowed down intentionally here so that we can actually see what's happening there. In reality, it's much faster, as we've seen in a few seconds.
Yeah, we will see it later live, and that's just for showing how it works. So the tube will be clamped, and then the tube is formed through the tube shaper.
Yeah, is there a risk of having cracks somewhere in that tube because of the forming process?
Now you can see it here. When we are speaking about a flaring system, you flare the tube, and that's a problem where you can have some scratches in the tube. Here we are compressing the material, so there is no problems.
So no crackings, very good.
No crackings.
What about grooves on the surface? Because you have to grab the tube anyhow.
Of course, you have the grab in the tube, but we made some salt spray test, and we checked it, and we have more than 720 hours against red rust corrosion, so we have the corrosion class K5, and of course we made also the tests for DNV and so on, and you can see here the burst pressure test with a 42L tube, and you can see here that the tube burst and the connection is still on hold.
Yeah, so safety is guaranteed as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but very good. So let's come to the machine, because we need a machine. You can't do it manually, with your hands. Oliver, we have got a clip here as well, which shows the whole process. If you could walk us through this, what we see here.
This is our forming machine. And the first thing the operator needs to do is to choose the material he wants to form and the size of the tube, also the wall thickness. What you can see here is he's using gloves, so the machine can be operated also in this way. And after this, all things have been set correctly. You need to put in the correct tube shaper. In this case, EVO tube shaper, and the clamping jaws. The nice thing is here that the tube shapers for EVO are a lot shorter, allow a lot shorter lengths of the tube that need to be inserted into the machine. There's a small reference run that needs to be done after each material change, and then the tube the tube is inserted into the machine, like we see here in the demo here again. This is what's happening inside the machine. but of course, as we said earlier, it's slowed down dramatically, so we understand what's happening. And yeah, after the assembly is complete, the clamping jaws are opening, and the operator can take out the tube, as you can see. And that's it. The forming is done. The only thing you need to do is to check the diameter and assemble all parts together, so the tube is ready to use.
All right, now we have spoken a lot that is much faster in reality.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
In fact, we have a machine outside, yeah, in front of the studio, in our demonstration car or van. It's a van actually, where our colleague Heinz Beile is there. Hello, Heinz, can you hear me? There he is, and he will perform a tube forming now live. Yes.
Yes, and he's using a 90-degree angle here in this case. First thing is he's able to add the nut before the assembly to it, puts the tube into the machine and simply press the start button. And after a couple of seconds, as you can see here, the forming is done. He adds the sealing ring to the tube, and that's it.
Yeah, and Andreas, the machine is very silent, isn't it?
Yes, there's very silent. It's not heavy. It's only 210 kilos. Yeah, and you can also see, or you saw that our very short bended tubes we are able to add to the machine because of the new shape of the Storeform Evosystem.
Yeah, so we mentioned the STAUFF liner. That is the name of the STAUFF demonstration van, which you can see, Andreas?
Yes, yeah, with that demonstration van we are driving to customers or to OEM customers and doing the trainings on site, that the customer is safe. We can do the assembly training, we can show the machines. The colleague will just go in the liner, and there we can see that we have also some hand samples, we have cutted samples inside.
So we drive with it anywhere, wherever the customer requests, in Europe.
Yeah, here you can also see some samples with tubes and hoses. We have in the background some special fire protective clamps. Here we have some hand samples that people can have also, yeah, the single parts in the hands, also different clamps, different materials. Yeah, also a short view on the production. Here you can see also the products we have with the hose fittings, the flanges, STAUFF test, ball valves, QRCs, clamps, everything we are able to show at customer side.
Yeah, and so STAUFF then, of course, performs trainings, conducts trainings on site at the customer.
Yes.
Yeah, in order to make sure that, for example, an assembly process is done in a proper way.
Yeah. We are doing some product trainings or also assembly trainings on customer side, on customer demand. And normally we are also doing every year a refresh of the assembly, or if needed also earlier when, for example, new people are coming to the customer, then we are also doing some additional training on site.
Yeah, and STAUFF is so, I'd like to emphasize it, yeah, is so convinced about the quality of the product, the Storeform EVO forming system, that once assembled according to the assemble instructions, STAUFF is able to give a leak-free guarantee for that connection.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? So which should give a lot of, say, trust or safety to the operator of the machine, whatever, when there is a leak-free guarantee for the connections, obviously. All right. Coming now to you, Oliver, and your special area, the internet connection. So how can a customer benefit from the internet connection of the machine, and how can this make the operation even safer?
The customer has different advantages from this internet connection. First of all, one big thing, of course, is the updates. We have the possibility to make updates on the machines on site without the need that the machine must come back to our company. Furthermore, we are able to send new parameters to the machines. And one big advantage, of course, is that the customer can view his own assemblies live in the internet. Therefore, we created a website, a cloud site, which we can see here now from my tablet. Every user gets its own login for his machine, and when he has a couple of machines, for example, you can see all his machines here. Our machine that we have just used outside is the STAUFF liner here on the top. And on this page here, we can go into detail view and can have a look at the latest assemblies that have been done here as a detailed overview. Furthermore, he's able to have a look at the reporting, and with a click on the view here, you can see all the assemblies that have been done over the day, over the last week, over the last year. And then you can directly from here create any test reporting files directly in PDF here, as you can see. You have a direct overview about the last assemblies that have been done over this period of time that I defined over here. Or you can show the customer, maybe your customer, that you have done all these assemblies with the correct settings and so on. This is something that you can do here. Furthermore, if you go back to the main view here, you can see the firmware which is installed on this machine and the parameters. So in case of a new parameter set or firmware, this becomes red, so the customer knows there's something new, or we will get in contact with the customer before that. So there's a safety for you that you know that everything is up to date.
Yeah, so maintenance, whenever it's possible, can be done over the air, obviously. Yeah, which is of course a quick way to do that, a very cost-effective way to do that, and even in updates. So, for example, the customer requires a special material which is not in the standard package. Then he would contact STAUFF and
exactly. He would first, of course, contact STAUFF and ask for this special material. We would check the availability of this material, and then would directly get in contact with the customer to make an appointment when we can make the update or add the parameters, and then the parameters are directly sent to the machine, and he can directly work with it after a couple of days.
Andreas, in the very unlikely event that the machine breaks down, so there STAUFF has got a solution for the customer, obviously.
Yes, of course. We have a pool where we have some rental machines, and of course we can also give it to the customer when the worst case happen, when the machine breaks down. We are able to send this directly to the customer that he can work further with the rental machine. Or we have also rental machines in our product range, so if a customer wants to rent it for 1 month or something like that, or for some time period, we are also able to send it to customer, and then he can work with the machine for this time.
Yeah, so the machine is designed as a workhorse, obviously, So, but just in case, well, if it theoretically at least, so then STAUFF is, of course, doesn't let the customer down, but just very quickly, then without any bureaucracy, supplies another machine so the customer can continue working, making his connections. All right. Okay, Andreas, let's wrap up this episode. And you have created an overview which also points out the cost advantages of the Storeform Evosystem. And not only the cost, but also the reduction of the actually time it needs to assemble it.
Yeah, we can see the overview here. When you are speaking about welding, you need a lot of time for the welding process. You have to check the tube, you have to X-ray it, and so on and so on. The components cost are also very high. Then we have at the bottom the tube flaring, so you need also a machine for tube flaring. The component costs are very high in comparison to the cutting rings or also to Storeform EVO. Also the weight of the single parts is much higher, and also the spanning lengths of the tubes are also much longer instead of having a tube forming system. And what we are missing here is the soft sealed cutting ring because of the additional sealing ring inside and outside of the cutting ring and of the special material. The single parts are also much more expensive instead of the standard nut and the sealing ring of the Storeform Evo system. That's one of the advantages. Additional, also the assembly. We are speaking about 15 to 20 degree instead of tube flaring. We really need much more force, and also with the soft sealed cutting ring where we need 90 to 150 degree for the final assembly in the fitting body.
Yeah, you told me this morning, and I think we should share this information here with the audience, that you just were working together with an OEM on the replacing of a soft field cutting ring by the Storeform Evo system with significant savings.
Yeah, he was now using a soft sealed cutting ring, and we exchange it to our Storeform system. They are doing around about 400 to 500,000 assemblies a year. They have more, not only one advantage, they have a lot of advantages, because in the past they have to oil it because the system they're using, they need to oil. That was not the case with Storeform Evo, also with the other systems we have in our range. And additional, the component cost compared to the soft sealed cutting rings, there are more than 100,000 euros saving for the customer. Only the component costs.
100,000 euros.
Yes.
All right. I mean, that's an argument itself.
Of course.
Yeah. And let's not forget that the connection itself, it's safer because of the avoidance of the worst case.
Yeah.
It is safer because you can't over-tight it. Yeah. As you said, there's a block stop. You don't use oil, so there's no contamination, all of that. You don't need oil, so it's another saving that we've got. So the whole process actually is safer compared to the other solution that this customer used. And in addition to that, there's massive savings of that.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good summary of the advantages of Storeform Evo. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Oliver, for participation in that stream. And before we close that episode, like to give you the hint that this episode is part of the STAUFF, we call it mini-series, Improving Agricultural Safety, which consists of 5 episodes. So there are another 4, which you find when you click below your video screen, you scroll down, there you find them. The 4 streams, they deal with the STAUFF noise reduction clamps and the advantages in increasing the safety. Then STAUFF line, the color-coded quick release couplings, and there is a so-called compact stream with the title Everything You Need to Know in Brief. So if you do not have a lot of time and just want to get all information in a very compact format, this is the episode to watch. Having said that, thank you for watching and goodbye.